down, getting on the Orange Line, getting off at Jackson Square, getting on the bus, and then turning around, walking to White Stadium to go work out after school. When they get out of school at 2 o'clock, by the time they get there, getting off at Jackson Square, getting on the bus, and then turning around. So you know what I mean? It's stuff like that we've been bringing up. But the reality is, Boston's spending more money than we're making. So property taxes are going to go up again. It went up 25% this last year. It's going to go up again. And they want to bring in more skyscrapers in downtown, and half the ones downtown now are empty.
So, next question. What could you have done better? What did you do wrong, and what could you have done better as a candidate?
Well, one of the things that I'll continue to work on as a person is asking for help. That's one thing that I have an issue with. I'm not a fan of asking or begging someone to do something. And I've learned, a lot of things that you need during the campaign. You're gonna have to ask and beg because our community is not involved. And because they're not involved, that begging becomes, again, it's like a cry for help. Yeah. And I have an issue with that. Like, I shouldn't have to beg you to be a part of something that people died for. Amilcar Cabral died for the independence of Cabo Verde. Martin Luther King died for the civil rights of all Americans, including the ones who are continuing to come to the States and becoming American. So how is it that we got to beg our community to be involved in the process that you should automatically want to be a part of? And then we go back and we talk about nationally, everybody's upset at what's going on in the White House. Oh, I don't vote. Well, because you didn't vote, that's why he's in the White House. Because you didn't vote, that's why we have a mayor that's uncontested. So your issues are never going to be heard when there's no one to hold someone accountable. There's no accountability going on all level of politics. When you have unopposed incumbents, they don't have to do anything because there's no one to hold them accountable. And that's something that I want to work on.
No, Hamilton, I want him to tell me the percentage. I want to understand deeply the percentage. You told me that 5%, the whole Boston, only 5% went to vote.
5% is who got the incumbent back on the ballot to be the mayor.
So what was the total voting count in Boston?
There's over 460,000 voters. There was 96,000 that came out in the preliminary. Overall, there was 20% overall of all voters, but only 5% came out for the preliminaries. And that's how she was able to get back on the ballot for November. And then the individual who came in number 2 pulls out 24 hours after the preliminaries. And usually the general election in 2021, there was a little over 142,000 Bostonians who voted. And this preliminary in September, only 96,000, just a little over 96,000 came out. There was still, to the numbers that people work off of, there was still another 50,000 people that didn't vote, that normally votes. And for us to only get 142 to 143,000 people out of 460,000, you're not even getting half the population to come out and speak on issues.
Correct. Yeah.
So that tells you where the real issue is. It's voter engagement. You will never see an advertisement from Boston that says go out and vote September 9th. You won't find one. And if you do find one, let me know. So like that, I can give you lunch. Because that's not something the city does. The city does not promote candidates. From day one, mainstream media only spoke about the 2 that they felt like was viable. What makes you viable? Money. Okay. Yeah. So this guy had all the money in the world, and then the day after winning the preliminary, quits, pulls out for whatever reason. That's his right. But how is that fair to us as a city when we are part of the process? We come out and we vote, but then all of a sudden, that process now there's a hiccup because someone decided, you know what, I'm gonna take my football and go play somewhere else.
So he won the election, then he decided to back up
the next day.
Wow. Yeah. He was trying to prove a point or something.
No, he didn't win the election. He came in second place. So he passed the advance from the preliminary. So he advanced. So to go against Michelle Wu,
Mhm.
but then he bailed out. He realized he has no chance to beat her, so he just gave up.
Well, I mean, let's go. Okay, viable.
Mm-hmm.
Is it the work we do
Mm-hmm.
for our community, in our city, and our ones we love? Or
Hold on. We got a call. We
Oh,
got a call.
shoot.
Let's see what this call's about. Hold on.
don't hang up.
Hello, the Outsiders.
Hello.
Yes.
What's going on, you guys? It's Tony. It's Tony from TV Media. I'm just here to say shout out Domingos, Hamilton, LP, everybody. You know, we here to support the community. We love what you guys are doing. I voted for Domingo. You know, and that's just why I wanted to call in and show love and support.
No, thank you.
Thank you, Tony.
Appreciate it.
I saw your podcast with Hamilton.
Yeah, last week it was dope.
I was in the bed. I watched the whole thing.
Appreciate you guys, man. Yeah, just wanted to call in and show some love.
Thank you, man.
Thank you.
Appreciate it,
And I
T.
appreciate your support. I've been watching you sharing my stuff for a long time. I told Hamilton that.
For sure.
Thank you. Appreciate it. We here.
All right, y'all.
All right,
Yes,
thanks.
sir.
Yeah.
All right.
And that's what it's about right there. People getting involved. People who were who never voted decided to come out and vote because they had a different option.
Mhm.
And that's what I've learned through this process. People are looking for a variety of candidates. They don't want just someone who's been groomed by the electeds. They don't want someone who financially can manipulate the votes. People want a variety. They want to see someone who's actually been out there living the story.
Living with the people, right?
Lived experience.
Know
And
what's going on.
I have a question. All right. You ran for mayor, city council, and a couple other things in the past, right? But you are very entrenched in the community with the Boston Bengals Papuana football team. All right. I want you to talk about that as well. And we're going to come back into the politics thing. You're very active in the community, especially with the Boston Bengals. And for years, you've even been on Fox News with this situation, the needles in the park. Now you're talking about safe injection sites and so on and so forth. Can you talk about the Boston Bengals, your dedication to them, and also the troubles you guys are having at the playground where the kids play, and then transition into the safe injection sites situation?
Yeah, I mean, that's what Clifford Park was. It was a safe injection site for folks who were using the play structures as shelter. The Boston Bengals been around since '99. It was an offspring from the Boston Raiders, created by Dennis and Harry Wilson, and a few other folks like Stovell, Marvin Stovell, and folks who were a part of the organization. I started coaching with the Raiders in '92. Coach Wilson dragged me in as a junior coach. We left Madison and went to Clifford Park, which is the Prairie for people that don't know. The Prairie, Clifford Park, is across the street from Victoria's Diner on Mass Ave. I've been playing in that park since I was born, literally.
Mm-hmm.
Not just me, Hamilton too. I mean, his jump shot, that's where he perfected it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But having that organization within a community where there wasn't much, like we grew up in a park that we created our own league. We created our own football. We created our own baseball. And when I came back to coach with the Bengals, and then the following season, it was like, listen, man, we want to step you up and let you be the president, and let's make it happen. And it happened. And I've been working to bring light to the program because of what goes on Mass and Cas. We're collateral damage. I got kids out there as young as 5, 6 years old watching people inject themselves. I got kids watching people have full-blown sex in the middle of the park. And all the city can tell us is it's not a priority one call because it's black and brown kids. Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, the other side of the city, you're not watching people defecate in front of you. You're not watching people perform lewd acts. So it became a driving piece for me to bring safety to the kids who organize within the organization, because these kids were organizing themselves because they were showing up to meetings and speaking up on the things that they were seeing. We created a spinoff, Needles in the Park. Shout out to Leon Rivera, and Carlos Enrique, and putting those things out there so people can come out. At that time, Carlos was the state rep. And he would come out to the park and be like, yo, Mingos, what y'all need me to do? And it's like, yo, we need maintenance. We need people to come down here and keep the park clean and safe. And we fought the city through, ups and downs, and made sure that they didn't push us aside. Now we have a park who's being renovated. We're bringing in other measurements to make sure the park is safe. We're going to go from grass to turf because we want to be able to identify harms that we wasn't able to identify in the grass because it was buried in the grass. So the city has had a conversation these last couple of weeks about safe injection sites in Boston. They want to bring it to that Mass and Cass area. We as a city have pushed back and was like, nah, man, we want to decentralize a lot of these services. We got 3+ methadone clinics within that walking district. We're giving, A-Hope is giving out 35,000 needles a week. Meanwhile, we can't get kids school lunches.
We're going to hold that thought and go to a short break. I'm going to come back for more heat. All right. You tune in with Domingos Darosa interview here today on The Outsiders. Your host, Hamilton Rodriguez, and guest LP Diaya. But we're going to hear more from Domingos in 2 minutes.
Imagine classrooms where every child has the resources to succeed. Ward 4 deserves excellent schools that shape tomorrow's leaders. When you vote for Maria Antonia de Vega for school committee, you're choosing a champion for student excellence. Our children's future starts in these classrooms. Support the change Brockton needs. Support Maria Antonia de Vega on Tuesday, November 4th.
Support Maria Antonia de Vega. For those of you that are in Brockton, Massachusetts, Ward 4, vote for Maria de Vega. Maria Antonia de Vega, she's running for school committee. We all need good school committee candidates in our communities, people that have the heart for the children, and people that care about the children. This is why I brought Domingos Darosa on our show today, and he's a guy that cares. A lot of people don't care. A lot of people run for office and they don't care. They just want to build a resume and increase their career or whatever. Domingos wholeheartedly ran for mayor because he cares. And that's why I wanted him to come show his point of view on the show. We have a caller. Hold on. We have a caller. Hold on. Office and they don't care. Hello? Hello?
Hello, hi.
Yes.
Yes, this is another Domingos from Boston.
Yes.
This one.
Yes.
Yes, I was just trying to show my support to Domingos Darosa.
Yes.
Sorry if there was a little feedback here.
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you for calling.
You're more than welcome. I was about to say a couple words to him.
Yes.
Directly.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Well, first of all, to say thanks to him for his courage, for his advocacy for our community. And, I spoke to a lot of people, like white folks and, Latinos and Greenies, Jamaicans. Everybody was so behind him. And everybody was shown like a level of respect. It was like sad to see him drop out. But again, Boston is a tricky community. Sometimes people don't speak up. I was one of the guys who was trying to jump in and volunteer for his campaign. But I didn't have a chance to do that. But I know that in the community, a lot of people was trying to see an alternative. We want people, I think we need to stick together as a community. I think we need to share this thought. And I'd like to thank you also, Hamilton, for bringing him in and allow him to speak with the community, because we have a lot of people who wants to jump in and say, you know what, we are all part of Boston. We want to dedicate and give a lot to this community because we are all part of it. And we want to support him. There is a lot to say, but I know this is not my time. It's Domingos' time.
Take your time. We have plenty of time.
Hey, well, I have so much to say,
Yes.
But I just want to say thanks to all of you, Lippy, the Yaya, Domingos, and also you, Hamilton.
Yes.
It's a lot that we can cover here, but I don't know if we're gonna have another chance to be behind another candidate who can,
Listen, I ain't going nowhere. I'm gonna tell you that now. 29, I'll be right back where I started. Collecting signatures. That's the only requirement that takes for you to get on the ballot, is to get the signatures of your collective community. 3,000 signatures. We went out there and we got it. And that's what I'm trying to tell people. We are here for eternity. What we do today is gonna etch in stone. What we do today, what we do tomorrow, what we don't do also is etched in stone. So this is why I'm telling us as a community, listen, stop letting people tell us what we don't got. Let's talk about what we do got. Ambition is one of the greatest things that you can give a person. Children are born ambitious. You know what I
This
mean?
fight is not over, Domingos. There is a lot of people in the community that wants to support you.
We'll get them out there next election. You know, folks are fired up, man. Folks are right now seeing what's going on nationally, and they're realizing, man, if we don't take a hold locally, it's going to wind up being more and more and more destruction of what's already been built. Yesterday showed folks, you know, the unity that people have across the state, but at the same time, when we talk about the issues that we face as individuals and then as a community, that's not at the forefront. I don't see people turning up for the 61-year-old lady that got murdered last week on Washington Street in the South End. Those are the things that, you know, we keep pushing aside because they bring up other issues. These are the same issues that keep being, you know, piled on, and then when it's busting at the seams, oh, we didn't know. And it's like, listen, man, these issues they're not new. This is not something that's new to us. This is something that has been going on since the dawn of time, but we are new to the issue. But the issue isn't new.
Any other questions, sir?
No, really. I just want to thank all of you guys and give a chance to somebody else to participate.
All right.
Thank you, Hamilton.
Thanks for calling.
Thank you. So,
Thank
so full disclosure, this show is an open mic for everyone to call in 339-235-6774. We give everyone on the show the opportunity to voice their opinion. When someone's opinion doesn't, when it conflicts with someone else's opinion, we all agree to disagree on this show. I'm not going to tolerate anyone to disregard someone else's opinion on the show. Everyone has an open mic here. Feel free to call in and voice your opinion, whether you're in support of Domingos or not support of Domingos. Call in.
Feedback is important.
Feedback's
man.
important to make yourself better. That's the importance of things. And quite frankly, I like to have conflicting views on my show, and this is why it's called The Outsiders. But Domingos, we are going to talk about the community within the community. We're going to branch off into gun violence in the school systems, and I want you to elaborate what we discussed the other day about gun violence in the school.
Oh yeah, listen, man. We let people put numbers out there because they create the numbers.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when we became a city, 12 there was no arrest 12 list, like shoplifting and breaking into people's cars and stuff like that. So the numbers in those criterias go down, but the shootings have gone up. The amount of forensic evidence left, bullet casings to be specific. When you have a shooting and there's 35, 40, 50 casings left behind,
Mm-hmm.
that is beyond alarming.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I said it sarcastically about the 80s and the 90s. I said, listen, man, when the Glock 19 came out, everybody was running to get one.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because your capacity level went up. You went from a 6 shooter to 16 shots. And that was wow, Now we have young folks walking around with capacities that have 100 rounds in it.
Mm-hmm.
So you're finding 3 times the amount of casings. Now, on the positive side is they can't shoot.
And I'm going to give you some more fuel to your fire. When you think about it, they talk about gun rights and versus gun licensing laws making
Second Amendment.
but at the same time, these kids that are going around shooting people, they don't have gun licenses.
No.
So by strengthening gun laws doesn't solve the gun violence problem.
Well, we have the strictest gun laws in this country, Massachusetts.
Exactly. And people still shooting each other. So
it's gun education.
Gun education, but what is it? Is it socioeconomic when we bring it down to the neighborhoods? Is it socioeconomic problem?
No, listen, man. That's part of the conversation they throw in there so it can make it sound like it is.
So tell me, talk.
So the reality is educating our young people about their Second Amendment right. You know, this is why JRTC is so important. Bringing in programs at a younger age, having our kids as young as 6th grade get involved to learn about gun safety and gun education. I mean, our counterparts, our white community are teaching their kids about gun safety. They're 7, 8, 9 years old. Everybody has a interest in protecting themselves. Now, in our community, again, I said it to young folks, it's already an illegal gun. Why are you scratching numbers off? Why are you adding more charges to your charges when you get caught with an illegal gun? You don't have a license, so it's already illegal for you to carry it. So why would you add to your problems? And they'll look at me and say, what do you mean? I said, that's my point. My point is you have little to no education on what you're doing. You're just doing it because it's a fad. It's like a fashion statement. I mean, they had a movie with what was it? Don't drink your orange juice in South Central. That Wayne's Brothers commercial, right? What gun should I wear with my sneakers? Because it was a fashion statement. A lot of our kids are just going along to get along. Most of these kids have no clue. And where are they getting that kind of money to be able to buy some of these weapons? And who are giving them the access to these weapons?
But my question to you is, why is this happening in a city with low crime? As they say, Boston has low crime. But then every day I turn on the news, there's something going on with gun violence. Why is this all happening? Why?
Well, you know, you can drop out of high school at 16. Most of our youth, the dropout rate is a conversation that's not being brought out. When we look at the graduation rate, we've asked for the numbers of how many students graduated last year from Madison Park. And look, we're already in October, and they're telling us we got to wait for those numbers. Graduation was back in May, June. Why do we have to wait? We asked about the MCAS because that will give you a reflection on where these students are going to wind up, how these students are going to wind up, how many students in Boston Public are going to college and trade school. So like that, you have a better understanding what their future looks like financially. So financial constraints, you know, that $8 versus $246,000 per white family versus a black family puts you in a situation where you're in a community where the next person is trying to survive just as bad as you are. You know, there was always a saying, you'd rather get caught with it than get caught without it. You'd rather be judged by 12 than carried by 6. And we have to change that mindset. We don't give value to life. We tell ourselves, oh, you'll be dead by the time you're 18. That's what was said to me coming out of high school. Oh, you'll be dead by 18. So what does it matter? You don't need to go to college. Why not encourage me to be something versus what you want me to be? A statistics. I'm not going to jail. I'm not going to wind up dead at 18. I'm 48. But we got 48-year-olds getting shot and killed. We had a 61-year-old get murdered a week ago in front of her house in broad daylight, and nobody in the public office is speaking about it. But they're protesting the King's Day. They're showing up in drones to protest. And I'm talking about the electeds, not the community. I'm talking about the folks who govern the policies and procedures that we need to look at and rewrite. Boston got sued by the state of Massachusetts because they wasn't issuing gun licenses. It was taking 10 years for people to get their gun license in Boston. Everybody has the right to bear arms. If you are a citizen of the United States, you have the rights to bear arms. You have the right to have a gun license. But that's not what we're teaching. We're not teaching gun safety and education. So our kids are out here running reckless because they don't know what they have in their hands. And they don't understand the jeopardy that comes with it when you get caught with it, and when you're putting yourself in these positions where you're committing violence. I spent more than 3/3 of my life fighting youth violence from the 90s. I was probably one of the first Cape Verdeans running around scooping kids up to keep them from being involved in street violence. And I was prosecuted for that because the community didn't know how to grasp change.
All right. So hold that thought. We're going to take a little 30-second break and give you some water because this is getting hot. So I need you to have some power towards the end. So we're going to take a 30-second break and come right back to this conversation. Okay?
Let's do it.
Imagine classrooms where every child has the resources to succeed. Ward 4 deserves excellent schools that shape tomorrow's leaders. When you vote for Maria Antonia de Vega for school committee, you're choosing a champion for student excellence. Our children's future starts in these classrooms. Support the change Brockton needs. Support Maria Antonia de Vega on Tuesday, November 4th.
Wow. We're here with Domingos Darosa. Once again, here on The Outsiders. Thank you for showing up today, and thank you for sharing your opinion. This is what the show's all about. I'm not going to invite people to share one point of view on the show. It's everyone's point of view is welcome on The Outsiders. That's why it's called The Outsiders. So we'll have one day one leaning conversation, and then the next day will be another leaning conversation, a middle leaning conversation, or we'll talk about entertainment. Everything goes on this show. Everything respectful. And I'm going to continue this conversation with Domingos, and we ended off talking about gun violence, right? So I want you to elaborate and add to this discussion with regards to gun violence. What would you have done better if you were mayor of the city? How would you combat gun violence in the city? Would you hit it from a socioeconomic point of view? Would you hit it from a legal point of view? Would you hit it just locking them all up?
It's a humanity piece. It's a humanity piece. Everything for me goes back to humanity, man. It's the way you treat people. I'm a survivor of gun violence. You know what I mean? I got shot in front of my mother. Who wants to see their mother look at them as, you know, the look on my mother's face said it enough. And then my response to her was, welcome to my world. The ducking and the dodging and trying to make it home safe. You know what I mean? Every night living in the war zone. They call it the murder triangle of Boston, Mattapan, Roxbury, Dorchester. This is what the mainstream media in Boston calls it. We got to go back to giving folks value of life, man. People got to value themselves. And we got to also give people alternatives to conflict resolution. We got kids inheriting street beef that's 40 years old. They ain't got no clue how it even started. But I'm from this part of the city and you're from that part of the city, and we can't be friends because we're from two different parts of the city. So here goes a solution. How about we increase youth sports and unify our youth through our sports and our arts and our music, like we do in every other situation. My kid goes to school in Concord College. I spent the day yesterday in Wilmington, and not one Boston public school was there for a cheer competition. There was probably maybe about 15 to 16 different teams from all over the state. Today they're in Neshoba Valley competing. And one team from Boston showed up, from what I'm being told from here to there, because, you know, I'm always asking who showed up, who's there, who can we support, how can we support? And that's how we combat a lot of these issues. You know, you went to Madison in the 90s. You know how tough it was for us to survive. We survived because we were in sports.
Yes.
I played football. You played basketball. We played sports.
Yes, yes.
We stayed busy.
Yes.
Because we didn't want what was said to us. Oh, you're going to be dead. I mean, you was there in 92. We lost Jeffrey Toney first week of school.
Yeah.
We were burying friends left and right.
Yeah.
And sports made it where we had a family that was outside our family, but we felt safe enough. Like, we didn't leave Madison's gym till 9 o'clock at night. We got there at 7 in the morning because we were in school doing sports.
Yes.
Walking to the Burke 2:30 in the afternoon and find how many students are in school doing extracurricular activity. The schools are closed on the weekends. Our school is our center of our city. Our libraries are the beating hearts of our communities. And these entities are closed. Our library's closed on Sundays. You can't walk into any library on Sunday. Let's go to Weymouth. I can take you to Weymouth right now, and I guarantee you the library's open till 5. And they're open till 9 o'clock at night.
Yes, yes.
Why do I know? Because my daughter uses the Weymouth Library. My wife uses Weymouth Library. While my daughter's at cheer practice in Weymouth, my wife's at the library doing her studies.
It's a state-of-the-art facility, I tell you that much.
Oh, dude, beyond.
Yeah.
Beyond. And I can bring water into the building. I don't have to be, I don't go, it's sad that we got to go through metal detectors, even at the library, to get in. But that's the reality we face. So we're not the safest city. The school, our school, the police was taken out of our school because the city said we didn't want police in the classrooms. I understand that. But at the same time, go to City Hall. They got security, Boston police, and metal detectors. Why? Because you feel unsafe. So how do you think our students feel when they got to go from Mattapan Square to Charlestown, and every single community they go through, somebody got a problem with them, or they got a problem with somebody, versus going to school within their own community? So that causes the other issue, because now social media has vamped up a lot of these issues. There's no more standing on the block waiting for someone to come shoot at you. They're tracking each other using Snapchat and these different platforms. The kid didn't get killed in the barbershop because they randomly knew he was going to go get a haircut. No, they followed and tracked him using a social media app. But that's not a conversation that we're having with our young people because it's being dismissed. So I tell my kids, I'm the only person that should know where you at all day, every day. Turn your locator off on your little social media apps that you choose to use. My kids just got on social media, and that's because I allowed them to.
But you educated them beforehand. Before they got on social media. So what I recommend parents, when they get a certain age to understand how social media works, you should basically educate them about social media before you allow them to get on. So
well, you got parent locks too. There's things that you can put on there to keep them safe.
It's an education process. But let's talk about failing schools.
Dude,
let's talk about failing schools. So
oh my God.
you and I
I'm a product of it.
You and I went to schools in Roxbury, Madison Park High School.
Oh yeah.
Okay. It was a failing school when we were there.
It's a failing school now.
Failing school now.
Yep.
Okay. And it was a failing school beforehand. So let's talk about that. And I remember we had metal detectors when we were going in the 90s. So till today there's metal detectors. So apparently the metal detectors is not solving the problem. Okay. The school police is not solving the problem. Okay. Hiring 50,000 more teachers is not solving the problem. So how do we combat this failing school system problem? How do we make the system better for kids, a safer school environment, a learning environment that allows kids to prosper? Is it a governmental conspiracy to keep these kids down in the hood? Or is it something that funds are being mismanaged?
Of course.
What is it? You tell me.
We're still waiting on the audit. We're still waiting for elected school committee that we spoke on in 21, that 120,000 Bostonians decided to vote on. It was a non-binary question, but people voted on it and say, hey, listen, we want to go back to an elected school committee because then we can hold people accountable. Right now, everybody on the school committee is only accountable to the mayor. They're not accountable to the people who actually participate in the district. BPS is down to about 47,000 students. 32% of our high school students can't read. 32% of our high school students are on reading level, meaning you have a 68% failing. Our K through 8, we're at 23% students at reading level. That means most of our third graders. So if you had a classroom you got a school of 100 kids, they're all in the third grade, only 23 of them can read. For every 100 students we got, so people can understand what the number look like. For every 100 students we got, only 23 of them can read at level. And how are you going to get into Northeastern or BC or Emmanuel College or any of the Mecca schools we have here in Massachusetts? Massachusetts is the capital of colleges. There's more colleges per square miles in Boston than any other state. And we can't get in there. And their solution to our issue when it comes to that is you can go to community college for free.
So let me ask you a question. You mentioned the MECO program. All right. It's a wonderful program, so on and so forth. I want you to explain to me what is a MECO program so people can understand. Secondly, I want you to explain to me how come the BPS can't be a program so that there's no need for MECO program. Why do we have to create such a program to yank kids out of the Boston Public Schools because they're doing poorly to go to other schools?
Well, it was originally started to diversify these white communities surrounding Boston. So there's 33 communities in the MECO program. And the MECO program consists of the town and Boston. So, you know, again, they put our kids in that, oh, that's a MECO kid. And I tell people I have an issue with that. I sat on the school committee in Concord for 3.5 years. I was one of the first elected blacks to be on the school committee in Concord. My position had no voting power, which for me was an issue, but wasn't an issue. I just wanted the language to be put into their bylaws so future folks can fight to make that and make it work, because it has to be done from, you know, what they say is from the state level. It has to be put into the state law for it to be a voting position. But there's a position on the school committee, 2 of them, one from K through 8 and one for the high school. And we worked on that. We, the parents, did that. And I was honored to be the first high school representative, where I learned so much. You know, 23,000 Concord, Carlisle Regional High School spends per student. 33,000 BPS. And when you look at the additional resources between the 2 different districts, it's a huge difference. I paid $300 for my daughter to be a cheerleader plus a uniform. It's free for BPS.
Yes.
But we ain't got no participants. In Concord, they can't get enough. They have too much participants that they have to have a waiting list, that they have to create additional teams to offset the amount of students who are participating. Meanwhile, we can't get 35 kids to play football at Madison. That's just the JV program.
Yes.
Varsity. So all together collectively, right? So we're in Concord. They got a 7th grade team. They got an 8th grade team. They got a freshman team. They got a junior varsity, and they got a varsity team. They got 5 different levels of football for the students within that community. Our kids are not going from middle school to high school to play sports. We don't have middle school sports. Why not? We don't have a middle school soccer team to feed Burke or feed O'Brien or feed Madison. We don't have that pipeline. We don't have elementary school sports to have those kids want to go into middle school. And that's what we can change as a city. That was part of one of my plans. I worked for one of the most important entities, direct services. BCYF is the most important entity out of direct services in the city. Underfunded, understaffed, underappreciated. A youth worker should automatically be working in middle school, not just in the community center. They're another level of guidance, not just a guidance counselor, another level to that guidance, to the point that you were making earlier about the violence in the high school. So our youth workers are working with the students in middle school, and they identified Domingos as a at-risk youth. Mingos lives in Mattapan. He can't go to school at just any area. I had to put him in a school where he's safe enough to go to school. So why would I put him in Charlestown that he got to travel through the whole community? Okay, he does go to school. Now he gets to high school. That's where he meets Hamilton, who's the youth worker at Madison, who coordinates with Domingos and says, hey, listen, man, Domingos calls Hamilton, and I say, hey, listen, Hamilton, I got this kid, Domingos. He's a real good student, wants to stay in school, but he got a lot of smoke. Can you? And I give you his paperwork. I hand him off to you. Now you provide him with the resources he needs to stay safe and stay in school. But that's not what happens in BPS. BPS passes the baton. He's an at-risk student, so what? We don't care. Send him to Madison. This is why Madison always has, you know, that dumping feeling. They just dump students there who they don't seem, don't have a future, even though Madison can produce, individuals making 80 grand a year. Like, you come out of Madison as an apprentice. Why do I need to go into another tier of schooling? This is what this administration is doing. You graduate Madison, now they want you to go into another year of schooling before you can go into the unions, instead of going straight into the workforce. And that's how we combat a lot of these little things, is by actually using what worked. These things were working. It's not the miracle of Boston. It was the RICO of Boston. They dropped every single law enforcement in Boston and then said, clean it up. And that's when they use all those languages on the federal level to pick up people and lock them up instead of giving them an opportunity to clean up habits. And that's what we need to do for our young people, is help them clean up bad habits.
Thank you. So that was a whole mouthful of fire, brother. Mouthful of fire. We're going to take a 30-minute break, have your water, and we're going to finish off. We have 5 more minutes left in the show. I want you to finish this off with a bang.
I got you, man.
We'll be right back.
Imagine classrooms where every child has the resources to succeed. Ward 4 deserves excellent schools that shape tomorrow's leaders. When you vote for Maria Antonia de Vega for school committee, you're choosing a champion for student excellence. Our children's future starts in these classrooms. Support the change Brockton needs. Support Maria Antonia de Vega on Tuesday, November 4th.
We're back. Don't forget, Brocktonians, support and vote for Maria Antonia de Vega in Ward 4. If you live in Brockton and you're in Ward 4, support Maria Antonia de Vega. She's the right candidate for the right position, school committee candidate. Help her get through the cut on November 4th, Tuesday, November 4th. Vote for Maria Antonia de Vega, Ward 4 in Brockton. We have 5 minutes left in the show. Call in for the last time if you guys can. 339-235-6774 if you want to, stick it to Domingos or ask him a question or whatever. Just call in the show if you just want to say something. Call in 339-235-6774. And Domingos, I need you to wrap this up with a bang. Thank you for coming. I appreciate your presence, and the audience appreciates you too. Wrap this all up. We talked about needles in the park. We talked about your campaign. We talked about gun violence, failing schools. Summarize all this discussion that we had today, and basically let us go home with some substance. All right.
Listen, we got to get involved. Everything goes back to humanity. We're struggling as a planet, not even just the neighborhoods we live in. Like, you can't go outside the country and feel safe anymore. People don't talk about that. I have a relative who traveled outside the states and was attacked, robbed, beaten, thrown into a ditch, and there was no support. And when they went to the U.S. Embassy, they were closed. They had a 9-to-5 schedule. No money, no ID, nobody to turn to, and you're in a foreign country trying to figure out what's safe. And because you're identified as an American, you're a target. And that's a big conversation that we don't talk about. But those are the same things that we face here as a community. Our failing schools is the reason why Black home ownership is down. When we have a trade school that's 14 out of 14 in the middle of a city, like Boston, that has a boom in construction, and the Black family's net worth is $8 versus $240,000, and their numbers keep growing. That wealth gap and the education gap goes parallel. As much education you has, and I don't mean college degrees, I mean just being educated in something. Not every plumber has a master's degree in plumbing. They start off as just being a gopher, go get this and go get that. But then at the end of the day, they work towards becoming a licensed plumber and becoming a master plumber. And we're not giving ourselves those opportunities because we've been told we're not good enough. They don't give us the value we need. And we got to value ourselves for what we do have versus what they tell us we don't have. I didn't run for office because I had $6 million at home just sitting in the box and I was like, I'm going to use it to run for mayor. I got nothing else to do. No, I ran for mayor because I wanted a kid that lived 2 doors down from me to see my sign on my door. Hey, that's you? Yeah. You're running for mayor? Yeah. Oh, my God. Coach Mingos, you're running for mayor? I seen you on TV. You can't buy that. You can't script that. I went to vote with my mom. I was probably the only candidate that walked in with their mother to vote on election day.
That's beautiful.
I made a video and I kept messing with her. You know who to vote for, right? You know the name, right? She turns to me and says, I gave you the name, me and your father. I know who to vote for. I've been voting longer than you've been alive. And that right there gives me the will to go back into the ring and be the sacrificial lamb. Because we got to put ourselves out there to make change. Nothing's going to change because we say we want it to change. We got to be the ones to go against the grain. That's what we did, Hamilton, as kids. Being distimidos at church. You know what I mean? Going against when the norm was. Cape Verdeans don't play basketball. So how the hell Hamilton was a basketball player at Madison for 4 years? We don't play football. Mingos play football at Madison. So I want people to understand, stop letting people tell you what you don't have. Start realizing you are the change. When you walk into a meeting and you don't like something that's being said, speak on it. If you see something that doesn't fit your day-to-day, say something. If you see a young person walking down the street doing something that you feel is going to be detrimental to you and your community and their safety, say something. Because we don't say something is the reason why we're in this hole. People are so, I'm scared what they're going to say. I'm afraid of what they're going to label me as. Listen, I don't care about any labels because the only label I care about is dad. Being a father is the most important thing for me. My next label that I'm hoping to get one day is granddad. And I want to make sure that my grandkids come into a planet that's safe, not just for them, but for the people that they're going to live with. And we don't have that going on right now. It's not safe for you to walk down the street when you're sitting on your porch, you're 60 years old and you get killed drinking iced tea. Miss Brown on Only Street. Miss Lynette's mom down in Mattapan Street. These are elders in our community, not young people, elders. So I want folks to understand, man, listen, man, love each other, empower each other, share your knowledge with others. Just because you know something doesn't mean someone else knows something. Come out of your comfort zone and make a difference. Someone that you might not have similarities with, you'll find out that you do, because the air we breathe is similar. You know what I mean? And I want folks to be, mindful about the future because it's here.
Thank you so much, Domingos. It was a long, I'm glad we had breaks in between so we can keep the audience engaged. We're going to go to a 30-second break, then I'm going to conclude the show. And thank Domingo for coming. We're not done yet, so we got like 2 minutes left.
Imagine classrooms where every child has the resources to succeed. Ward 4 deserves excellent schools that shape tomorrow's leaders. When you vote for Maria Antonia de Vega for school committee, you're choosing a champion for student excellence. Our children's future starts in these classrooms. Support the change Brockton needs. Support Maria Antonia de Vega on Tuesday, November 4th.
I gotta be somewhere.
Thank you, guys. We're wrapping up our show for tonight. Well, today, it feels like it's been the show's been going on for over an hour, and thank you. And I would like to remind everyone every Sunday at 2:30, the Outsiders podcast comes on. Hamilton Rodriguez. This show is not promoting anyone's point of view, and it's not non-promoting anyone's point of view. This is an open mic for anyone that wants to come on the show, and we support all walks of life, all points of view, and we want controversy on this show. We want people to come on and speak their minds openly without ridicule, and it's a show where we all agree to disagree. I have my point of view. Domingos has his point of view. The next person has his point of view, but we're not going to ridicule anyone's point of view on this show. And we want viewers to watch different speakers that come on every week. I would like to strongly thank Domingos Darosa for coming here today to share his participation and his point of view and his history of his life and so on and so forth. We went to high school together at Madison Park, grew up together in Roxbury. So this is why I invited him, because I know when he ran for mayor of Boston, he did it with his heart. And Domingos, thank you so much. Thank you so much. And say, I'll give you 10 seconds so we can
wrap up. Well, I want to thank you viewers, because that's what I was just reading the comments. You know, folks are watching, and we appreciate that, man. Support. It makes a huge difference. Sometimes just sharing it, liking it, and commenting is the biggest support that matters, because folks are out here putting in effort to do things, to shine light on issues, but then we're giving our personal time to make these things come to light. You know what I mean? So even with yourself, you know, you ran for office a few times yourself, Hamilton. People don't understand how much sacrifice it goes into your own personal life.
Mental draining.
Oh my God. And then they look at you like Superman. Like, no, listen, man, I was beat up too, man. I was tired. I was getting up at 4 a.m. and I didn't get back till 4 a.m. So yes. I just want to thank the audience for tuning in and paying attention, and stay vigilant. You know, bring up issues. You know, like you said, this is an open mic. You want folks to call you, let you know some topics that they want to hear about, because there's so many out there that folks are looking to have some support in. And I appreciate you guys tuning in. And don't forget, November 4th, go out there and vote. We got elections going on across Brockton and Boston. So make sure, if you're living within those two communities, get involved and find a candidate that you can support, especially when you're a parent, because our school systems connect us all. Thank you.
And if you're in Ward 4 in Brockton, city of Brockton, vote for Maria Antonia de Vega, Ward 4 in Brockton. This is Hamilton Rodriguez. Thanks for tuning in. We'll be here next Sunday, 2:30. Be here or be square. Hamilton Rodriguez with the Outsiders. See you later.